So, so hello. I have not been, I have not been reading my shards. So, I figure I probably should, huh? So yeah, one sec while while I put up some thumbnails and stuff. Okay, got that up there. Now let's send out a tweet. Do it live. So yeah, one sec. So, okay, got my tweet sent out. Now I need to send it to my other people, to other peeps. Boop. Yeah, props. I'm just about done. Okay. Yep. There we go. Pop out the chat so I can easily see it. There we go. And yes, that is my lovely Jasper you hear in the background, my lovely assistant. Okay. So, I'm going to go to read my shards. I'm going to go into a very safe space where Judy is. This is Judy's apartment. Mine too now, because we are having relations. Let's talk to her for a
For the
moment.
love of fuck, V, why didn't you text me back? Ugh.
Oops.
Everything okay? You alright?
Uh, my bad. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So, yesterday, I was sitting around, a little bored. Figured I'd hack a Night Cola ad. Damn thing reset itself in 5 minutes. Didn't get one measly pick out of it.
That sounds like Judy.
Up to any dumbass nonsense yourself?
Spent last night with someone. Guess who? Actually, scratch that. You'll never guess, so I'll just spill. Rosalind Myers. But not, in the way you're thinking.
NUS President Myers? Dang. Want to believe you, V. almost do. What else is going on besides that?
Ah, you know, same old. Rather hear what you've been up to. If I wasn't always on the move, you and I could spend more time together. Enjoy life.
Quality over quantity, V. Just focus on tying up all your loose ends. Then you and I are leaving this city once and for all.
Let's talk for a little while longer. Before I have to Delta somewhere.
For you, I've got all day.
What's new at the mocks?
And yes, I am about to get into
Susie isn't
the
giving me
that
the time of
stuff.
day, as usual.
Couldn't you replace Susie and lead the mocks?
No way in hell. I'll stick with tuning virtues, thank you very much. If you haven't noticed, I'm not much of a people person.
Not much of a people person, except for me. She's more of a virtue person.
How'd you hook up with the mocks in the first place?
I thought Susie and the gang could really change something in this city. I believed in them.
Winded up business as usual?
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. Few Joy Toys' lives really changed for the better thanks to them.
Well, that's good for that's good at least.
Got another question on my mind.
Shoot.
How's virtue tuning going? Scroll anything preem lately?
Depends what you call preem. Does smut count?
Just back out.
Guess I kind of have to be into a little bit of everything. When it comes to virtues, I'm mostly in it for the intel.
You mean seeing who killed who, using what?
Yeah, something like that, but you see it differently. For you, it's art.
Mm-hmm.
Always wondered, why the smut industry?
Isn't it obvious? 2 minutes of real feels a week's pay.
Sure, but I thought someone like you wouldn't be into the whole objectification thing.
Objectification. Not in my virtues. My actors love what they do, and that's why everyone wants to feel them. Can't fake old school emotions.
How'd you get into virtues anyway?
I always had a techie streak, ever since I was a little kid. When I felt my first virtue, I was like, hey, I can make this way better. So I tried, and I did. And then it just snowballed from there.
Sound about right.
Something else I wanted to talk about?
Got all the time in the world.
Yep, that's about it for now. Okay, time for the shards. Over to journal. Shards. Articles. News report. 0717 2062. A fatal incident occurred on Friday in Laguna Bend, a town located in the area surrounding Night City. Residents refused to vacate their homes. Properties which had been officially declared a construction zone by the corporation which had purchased the land. Despite not all homes having been evacuated, construction workers were ordered to begin their work to prevent further financial losses due to delays. One resident climbed a crane in order to stall construction. The crane operator responded by lobbing objects found in his control room at the man. The operator subsequently lost control of the suspended load, which collided into a home and killed a family who was still inside. The conflict between Night City Dam Limited and the residents is not new, but until now has not led to any casualties. Oh dear Lord. The dispute. Oh, by the way, Laguna Bend is where Judy grew up. Just so people might, for people who might not know. Yeah. and her city is now underwater. So that's what this is about. The dispute began a few months ago when rent prices in Laguna Bend rose drastically, after which the residents were informed that the land on which the houses stood was to become a reservoir for some really toxic water. Some of the residents relocated to temporary housing that was built as compensation. However, those who ignored municipal directives and stayed put became the victims of a corporate smear campaign, which identified them as agents of public unrest, APUs, representing necessary construction in order to secure access to clean water for all of Night City. Yeah, the water that got put into Laguna Bend, that was not water. Or not clean water, I mean. As a result, public opinion quickly turned against residents of Laguna Bend, and few, if any, paid attention to the change in police tactics and open violence against the residents. One could say it was only a matter of time before incidents like the one on Friday would occur. Eesh. Okay, next one. Night City football teams. Fans of professional sports often say that Night City is the only large metropolis in America without a football team. Even though a single glance at the football league standings is enough to notice the undeniable success of the Night City Corsairs. This state of affairs can cause confusion among those new to the sport, but the truth is, local football fans simply do not consider the Corsairs their own, despite the team's name and official affiliation. Here's a short story of football teams in our city. Night City Rangers, the city's beloved original franchise, was one of the many victims of the turmoil that shook the metropolis in the 2020s. Night City remained without a team for a number of years before a group of investors wanting to turn Pacifica into a luxury vacation resort decided to establish a new super team dubbed the Night City Nighthawks. Marquee players, wealthy sponsors providing access to state-of-the-art athletic cyberware, and most of all, EBM Petrochem Stadium, a modern venue designed to become the icon of Pacifica's new identity. If all this sounds too good to be true, it's because it ultimately was. The grandiose plans of the investors came crashing down in spectacular fashion, and the Nighthawks were disbanded after a mere handful of games. This failure did not kill the city's desire to have a team. This time, Night City officials decided on a different approach. If you can't create a franchise, buy an existing one. Tempted by the promise of unprecedented tax exemptions, the owners of the Sacramento Corsairs agreed to relocate the team to Night City. However, the switch only happened on paper, because EBM Petrochem Stadium became a black market and gang haven of Dogtown Pacifica's as an autonomous region. The Corsairs still play their games in Sacramento. No surprise then that the Night City residents do not think of the franchise as their own team. Yeah. Will there ever come a time when Night City will have a true hometown football team with its own venue? In speeches, Jefferson Peralez has mentioned into establishing an entirely new franchise, but most media consider this nothing more than mere campaign rhetoric to boost ratings. Will Night City residents ever again get to fill the seats of the stadium, buying foam fingers and beer to cheer on a football team that they can truly call their own? Only time will tell. Okay. So, EBM Petrochem Stadium, Night City. Though already analyzed at length in its implementation of brutalist aesthetic design, see Light/Weight, M. Linden, and not enough discussion has revolved around the stadium's likewise brutalist security system. Use of technology common to the prison industrial complex and the facility's security measures is an open, though largely ignored secret. In particular, the architects place several special emphasis on crowd control and riot de-escalation. The stadium's sections are divided by blast doors, which are kept open during events but lowered during riots to quickly isolate small groups for easier pacification. However, in a controversial move, the designers granted full authority of all security measures to the system's resident AI. What does AI regulate crowd control mean for judgment calls? Can it distinguish cyber-psychotic violence from that of self-defense? Will people fleeing a riot be permitted to leave, or trapped inside with the fire starters? Considering the literal fortune spent on the stadium's construction and technological development therein, most experts do not anticipate any sort of critical system failure that could lead to disaster of that scale. Still, it appears rather obvious that this mega monument to the Nighthawks football was built. Not with the fans and players at heart, but the corporate stakeholders who financed it. They've long known how to entertain masses. Now that they know how to subjugate them. Okay. Health and traffic safety. Trauma Team leads the way. Second-rate equipment, undertrained medical professionals, and high death rates. This is the best United States public emergency services have to offer. In addition to poor performance metrics, so too has their public image suffered. Scandals involving city EMTs colluding with scavengers have gone from rare to commonplace. Recent cuts in municipal healthcare spending have led to the outright collapse of a medical system that already underperformed by most standards in the developed world. Ironically, this so-called reform has resulted in a greater drain of doctors, nurses, paramedics, and dispatchers from the public sector. Where quality healthcare was spotty before, now too is even calling the emergency hotline. Should you be among the lucky to reach a dispatcher, expect more than a half hour for the ambulance to arrive. And should you not bleed out before reaching the hospital, you're even less likely to find an available bed. Recent data shows the survival rate for traffic accidents in that city at a meager 70%. Jesus. For comparison, the average survival rate for traffic accidents across all trauma team policies is 91%. Response time is guaranteed to never exceed 3 minutes. Heaven on earth? No. The minimum we all deserve. Something to keep in mind as you plan your personal budget. Purchase Trauma Team's platinum level coverage for the cost of gold and safeguard your life today. Limited time offer. Okay. Truth hidden in plain sight. We're like animals that have enough self-awareness to realize they're living on a farm, their freedom limited, their death inevitable, yet believing they understand the inner mechanics of their small, isolated world, imperfect but familiar. The truth, as always, eludes us. Those in control try desperately to hide the fact that the truth cannot be found within the confines of the farm, but beyond it, below it. This dangerous, grim truth, with the ones who watch us, control us, rule over us, steer us into our pens so cunningly we are not even aware of it. They offer scandals and outrageous conspiracy theories to excite us, mislead us, and deceive us into believing that we are capable of peeking behind the curtain. They do this to inflate our egos and make us feel smart. This is no better illusion than overconfidence. They've conditioned us to look only where and when they want us to. The true nightmares. These can only be found on the periphery of our perception. Whole universes are being created in cyberspace, designed by powerful AIs at the behest of their corporate overlords. But what is their goal? Who or what is the target? What role does the Blackwall play in all this? I'd like to know more of that. This digital metaphorical wall of legend erected to shield us Homo sapiens from the threat of the wild AIs? How do we know it even still exists? How do we know if Militech, Arasaka, or NightCorp haven't breached it to contact the other side? What if these mysterious beings, born in the net, have begun to make their way into our world? What if they're here already? Some might argue that our farm animals shouldn't care who their master is, so long as they're provided with water, food. So those after warning worthy of the times we live in. Maybe the time has come to bite the hand that feeds. The Pacifican Revolution. Pacifica. Get ready for a techno revolution. City authorities have announced more than €6 billion will be invested to expand the district's telecommunications infrastructure in the coming years. Little is known about the details so far, though one thing's for certain. Such an investment will attract numerous tech giant companies to Pacifica. While free market enthusiasts are already cheering with glee, dissents are already beginning to surface. Namely, the residents. As our one anonymous caller eloquently put it, not everyone wants to live in a fucking construction site. If that wasn't enough, our sources report NetWatch agents are to oversee the next stages of the investment, which, to say the least, raised a few eyebrows. City Hall refuses to comment on the matter at this time. B.A. Gusanov. Respiration and intercellular spaces. Okay. The theory of imperil. Though overly simplistic and never formulated along the lines required by modern scientific inquiry, is in fact useful as a general principle. Scientists today are all too ready to consign visionaries of previous ages to the dustbin of history, simply because they deal with questions of spirituality, putting them supposedly at odds with contemporary theories. If indeed a person has a self, how can we therefore doubt that the self affects the body? If it exists, then it must exercise influence. In fact, this was proven only a few weeks ago by a group of scientists at the University of Toledo. A study conducted on laboratory mice showed a correlation between regular meditation and a 20% increase in lifespan. Bibliography. The Fatal Effects of Modern Shamanism. And the Sensational Mice in Toledo. Okay. Bushido and Neo-Postmodernism. The Bushido franchise is a litmus test of our time. This groundbreaking film series puts on full display the entire spectrum of American society, masterfully pointing out the greatest problems of the neo-modern era. Live fast, die never was, in its own way, a generational manifesto on the affirmation of life. The use of vivid colors, shaky cinematography, ubiquitous blood effects, and pervasive brain splatter testifies to the extraordinary self-awareness of the director, who once revealed in an interview how he fucking loves it when hot chicks dissect the shit out of the bad guys. Perhaps no other concept more aptly describes the underlying society ethos when Bushido 3 was released. Especially worthy of note is the repetition in subsequent installments of the implant bomb motif, through the prism of which the protagonist reinterprets reality. One example of this convention's flawless implementation appears in the latest film in this series, Bushido 10, Fade to Black. The scene in which the powerful Gorira disembodies the arm of Jake, as played by the transcendent Tim Kelly, demonstrates in brilliant form the duality of the human condition. On the one hand, Jake loses his cybernetic arm, a symbol of both the tragic past and the ongoing techno-ontological conflict within his psyche. On the other hand, it is precisely due to this dismemberment that Gorira is blown to bloody bits by a sensational explosion sequence. In the final disintegration of the antagonist's body into a blood spray of gore, how should this be interpreted? It is a metaphorical cry of deeply rooted despair, a manifestation of the personal transgression. The fragmentation of body could likewise be interpreted as a fragmentation of the individual mind, thus provoking the question, whose mind? Indeed, had everything the viewer seen of Jake's struggle been, in fact, a personified, embodied fear? Had he not been embroiled in epic battle? Had he not been embroiled in epic battle with a vile monster, but rather only with himself? Could the entirety of Jake's narrative been only a manifestation of some cyberpsychotic dream state? Among all the depth and nuance that has been defined this franchise, that has defined this franchise since its inception, only one thing is truly certain: Bushido has forever changed the world of cinema. Holy shit! Safe and sound, Night City gangs. Yee. I think this might be the last one that I read, but I think I'm gonna try and make this a regular thing that I just kind of do, whether or not people can watch, because yeah, it's kind of fun. Hi there. It's your favorite neighborhood canine, Sergeant Dobbs. This useful little guide you're holding contains essential information on the Night City's largest gangs, where you'll learn which districts to avoid, how to recognize gang members, how to avoid dangerous situations. Animals. The animals aren't real animals. They're freaks of nature. Pumped to the gills with strength-enhancing hormones, they look more like piles of meat than people. They generally avoid cyberware with the exception of cosmetic modifications that supposedly make them look more like, well, animals. They're extremely aggressive and don't need an excuse to start a brawl. But despite their name, the animals are not a territorial gang. You can find fierce, hostile packs of them throughout the city. 6th Street Gang. From a distance, they can easily be mistaken for soldiers on leave. Military uniforms, combat boots, buzz cuts shouting "Hoorah!" out in every chance they get. Don't let appearances fool you. These are violent, dangerous thugs, ready to slit your throat without the slightest hesitation. You'll want to watch out for them, especially in Vista del Rey. The Mocks. Handsome girls, beautiful guys. But wait, it's a trap. They'll reel you in with their charm, and when you're least expecting it, bam! Your Eddie's gone, or worse. The hole in the wall that passes for their headquarters is called Lizzie's Bar. Best seen from far away and never entered. Maelstrom. If you ever find yourself in Watson's industrial area, it's better that you don't. Watch out for the sinister faceplates. That's Maelstrom. To be a part of the gang, you have to get your eyes and nose cut off and replaced with demonic fire-red optics. Ouch! If they do that to themselves, who knows what they'll do to strangers? Better to leave that mystery unsolved. Tiger Claws. Effervescent neon tattoos with Asian motifs? Katanas and shurikens? Racing bikes? These are some of the trademarks of the Tiger Claws game, with noticeable presence in Japantown. Ignore them and they shouldn't bother you, but do something to provoke them and it's sayonara, baby! Valentinos, golden grills, golden implants, golden crosses, and golden machetes? Say ay hola to the Valentinos. Despite the Catholic symbolism, they're not exactly love thy neighbor types. Those who get in their way typically end up chopped into pieces and tossed into the Del Coronado. Voodoo Boys. These predominantly Haitian gangsters are based in Pacifica, but they hunt their victims elsewhere, the net. The Voodoo Boys are the most skilled net runners in the Night City underworld. But beware, that doesn't mean they're not dangerous in real space too. Be sure to give them a wide berth, or you might end up like one of their black roosters, without a head. So yeah, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is 9 articles. That's some interesting stuff. So I'm going to end that here, and I'm going to have another segment of this in like another day or two, probably. So have a good night, and take care of yourself, tubes. See ya.